So we just got smashed into while we were at anchor.
I can't tell you how scared I was. I'm still trembling. Welcome back. Last week we discovered that we had ripped our chain plates out offshore, and we found out just how badly they had been installed.
There's nothing behind it.
Then we started fixing a chain plate, but we had to take a break because the forecast called for 40 knots of wind. So we hunkered down and waited. The next day, while we were working down below, we heard an extremely loud noise and felt an impact on our bow.
So we just got smashed into while we were at anchor. This group of 4 old Italians on a rib. We didn't actually see it because we were down below editing videos, but they obviously smashed into our whisker stay and ripped out the fitting, and they bent the fitting as well. So we're just rapidly trying to repair it because, as you can probably tell, it's really windy, and this is obviously crucial for holding the rig up. So yeah, we've just managed to take the backing plate off and all the nuts off, and I'm just trying to quickly reassemble it. Obviously, it being bent, we don't completely trust it, and we're obviously going to have to replace it. But yeah, we got their insurance details, and the Coast Guard are just over there, so they didn't really have a chance of running away. But we're now rapidly obviously trying to fix the second bit of rigging this week that we've had to fix after the chain plates. So yeah, not great timing. Yeah, gonna carry on fixing stuff. Yeah.
So when it happened, we were down below and I heard a really loud bang, and it felt as if someone had taken away our bow. I screamed so loud. I think I've never screamed that loud. I was so scared. I honestly thought the bilge pump was gonna go on and we're gonna have to abandon the boat. But thankfully it was just the whisker stay. And the biggest worry was that they were on this huge rib with 2 huge engines, and I thought they were gonna leg it and just leave us to it. But they had just been moved by the Coast Guard, so they couldn't do that. And us shouting, "Do not move, do not move," kind of helped, because they kept denying that they hit us, and they kept denying that they made any damage, when obviously our whisker stay was dangling off the bow in the water. And yeah, thankfully I managed to go alongside them with the dinghy, because they had absolutely no idea what they were doing with that boat. Absolutely no idea how to come alongside, how to anchor, nothing. I'm surprised that they can take that out with those 2 huge engines. Gave us all of their insurance details. I took pictures of it, took his business card, I guess, and now we're just trying to fix it as best as we can. And as soon as we're done, we're just going to jump in the dinghy and get the details of the people around us, to make sure that if they try to blame us for the damage or to deny it at a later stage, then hopefully we've got witnesses. I really hope someone saw it, because obviously people are just hanging out and swimming and whatnot, so they could just well say that, "Oh no, I didn't see what happened." So yeah, another great day on Skua. I can't tell you how scared I was. I'm still trembling. The rib had stopped in front of Skua with its engine in neutral in 40-knot gusts and drifted into our bow. Their thick A-frame hooked under our whisker stay and pulled it out. The strong impact also moved our bowsprit over to starboard and bent our king bolt. Ryan reattached the bent whisker stay as best as he could. Then we dinghied over to the neighbouring boats to ask if anyone had seen the accident. Thankfully, 3 people volunteered as witnesses and gave us their details.
Things have moved a little bit with the repairs we need to do. We've managed to get in touch with the insurance company of the rib that drifted into us and broke the whisker stay. and we're waiting on the surveyor because in Italy most people go on holiday for most of August, so we need to wait for this surveyor to come back from holiday, and then that'll be on Monday. It's now Wednesday? Thursday. So it's unlikely that we're going to get that sorted out before our family turn up for our wedding celebrations. So we're expecting to be in Sardinia at least until the end of September, but that also means that we've then got time to fix the chain plates, and we're at a bit of an impasse on the chain plates. We've decided on the temporary solution, basically to through bolt them through the hull with external backing plates, and some of the Iroko that I've got left over from the tiller project I'm going to use as a spacer, because with the internal chain plate there's quite a distance between the hull and the chain plate itself. So I've shaped those. I could do that, but we haven't got enough long 8mm bolts, so we're going to have to get to a hardware store. But because it's been high winds for the last 4 days, and this is the best sheltered anchorage from the east where the wind's been coming from, we've just kind of been hanging out here. We've been mainly concentrating on making money, and I edited a video today, so we're still kind of being productive and then trying to enjoy it when the wind drops like now. And yeah, it's just dropped after the thunderstorm, changed direction, and there's a really nice sunset.
Good morning. As you can see, we are underway, and we are headed for Sant'Antioco, which is an island connected to Sardinia via a bridge. And of course we are motoring, as you can see, because our rig is not usable. Still have the chain plates to sort out and the whisker stay and everything else. We have an appointment booked with the yard in Sant'Antioco so that they can have a look at the damage and hopefully let us know how much it would be to fix it. The problem is we can't fix it ourselves because we're going through insurance, which means that we need a quote from an actual yard and basically proof that we have paid and everything else. So that is going to slow us down quite a bit, because we've got our wedding as well, and our families are here for 2 weeks. So yeah, we can't really tell them, hey, by the way, we're going to the yard, see you later. So yeah, first step is getting a quote, and the yard people are gonna see us at our harbour wall, so in the water, so we don't have to pay for a haul out, just to get a quote. Then the surveyor is gonna be back from holiday next week, and hopefully we can meet him and show him the quote. And then once the quote has been approved, we'll probably be having our wedding. And but hopefully we can book the haul out and sort of repair works to be done by the yard. So that's what's going on today. Just going to the island.
Not too far from the heart, there's a star. Go have me as a reminder when it stings. When you're busy growing up, know that I'm right here.
Just as we were approaching, it started raining. Hopefully it's not going to be too windy, and we're just about to get into the harbour. So it's very, very windy, zero visibility, very, very rainy. So we're gonna board this mission. Woo! There was a cascade of waterfall from the bimini. Yeah, I'm gonna pull them up in a second and tell them this is way too hairy to try and dock. I don't think we would be able to see the dock until we hit it.
Yeah, and it's a very tight channel as well, like really, really tight channel.
Yeah.
So we'll find it for now.
Alright. So we now have 3 knots of wind and the sun is coming out. Typical Med. Really grateful though, because it comes right at the right time. We were maybe 10 minutes early, and that's
Not anymore.
we spent 10 minutes like going forward and backwards a few times. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be fashionably late by 5-10 minutes. It's gonna be fine. They're Italian like me, so it's fine. But yeah, perfect conditions right now. So the boatyard manager checked the school out inside and out, and gave us some free water, which is really nice. And he's going to send us a quote in a few days for the works. He seems very helpful. I really hope that whatever he quotes is going to get paid by the insurance, because these repairs, we could do them for not much and without hauling out. So the fact that we have to go through insurance is going to make it awkward, because it's going to be a much higher price for something that we can do ourselves. But anyway, fingers crossed, it's going to be alright. The problem is the yard is not authorized to let people live on board, so we're going to have to find a cheap apartment or something for a few days, Airbnb or whatnot. But now we're finally enjoying a night of light winds and a flat sea. It's amazing after 7 days what it feels. This is normal and it feels incredible.
This way. Turn to me. Let me clear every path.
Today we are moving anchorage because the wind is going to change and we have more high-ish winds coming, and we don't want to risk not being close enough to our wedding location and Ryan's family coming over. So we are going to basically anchor maybe 4 nautical miles away from Forte. And over there should be protection from different wind directions, so we can just move from anchorage to anchorage if needed. It's just 16 nautical miles away or something like that, and of course we are motoring because we can't use our sails because of the rigging not being in good condition. Anchorage. Lots of little boats that will most probably be gone tonight. The next day, we woke up to a sudden thunderstorm. The forecast had promised a calm, sunny day, so we hadn't bothered moving from a spot we knew was bad holding. Our anchor was in seaweed and slimy mud, so even though we had bedded the anchor in as usual, we knew it wasn't a good hold. We started dragging as soon as the wind went over 40 knots. Oh god, so much lightning around. It's just gone down. So we woke up this morning, normal forecast, so maybe 10 knots maximum of wind, and came out and saw that the sky was really grey. And well, I guess we are in a big thunderstorm where we've seen the biggest gust, 55 knots of wind, and it was sustained over 40 for a very long time.
And we're not in a very good anchorage.
We're not in a good anchorage, the holding is terrible. We've been dragging, so we've been going downwind on the anchor, and the waves have crashed over the side and over the stern. But I don't know, we don't want to leave the anchor because God knows where we're going to go.
This will pass quickly though, so if we do have to ditch the anchor, there's already a fender tied to it. If we do have to ditch it, we'll just point her up towards the wind and then come back and pick it up.
Third of a mile we dragged, my God.
At least we're dragging the right way.
Yeah. When does it get sketchy?
Drag that way for like the same distance.
Yeah, I think here is where the obstacle is. So we're going to re-anchor as it's only 20 to 30 knots now. Pick it up and at least we can re-drag throughout the whole bay. Only have 9 knots of wind and we can really hear the thunder now, so hopefully it means that it's passing. It's going through here. Gotta get it in before it builds up again. It's gusting 23 now, and you can start seeing white horses again. We've tried re-anchoring, but the holding is just too bad, and we were dragging right away at 1.5k revs, and after what we've seen, we're not comfortable with that, so we picked it up and we're going somewhere else. The forecast is not very reliable. So of course, as soon as we came out, the wind is was on the nose, and basically even the other anchorages around here are not viable. So there's no anchorage that is actually protected from the wind and waves. So we're gonna try and see if there's a spot inside the harbour at the marina where we were gonna go in a couple of days for our wedding, and just see if we can find a berth there. Of course the camera battery died as we came in, but as you can see we are moored, mid-moored, Italian style, so with lines rather than the anchor, and we are in a super busy marina. Still August, so it's pretty much every single berth is taken. Lots of catamarans moored alongside, and I cannot tell you how happy we are to be in here. It's miserable. The visibility behind me, I don't know if you can see, is absolutely terrible, and yeah, how glad are we to be in here, right?
Pretty happy.
Coffee?
Big time. Maybe we should go to shore for a coffee.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not even dressed. Thanks for watching. Join us next week to find out what happens with the insurance claim and whether we need to abandon our plans to sail to the Caribbean this year. If you enjoy our channel, subscribe and consider supporting our production on Patreon.